Oh, there
Here
we
we are.
go. All
Here we
right.
are.
There we are. We are back. We are back. We'll wait for the people to get back in. Then we'll marry these together. Let's retweet that. All right, Tommy. We are back. The whole thing crashed on us.
Wow.
But we are back. And the chat will be populated momentarily. So, as we were talking about before, we were so rudely interrupted by technology. Gunther, currently the world champion, wasn't anything on the first edition of Monday Night Raw. 279, welcome back in. Welcome in all your friends. So as we move forward now, because Tommy, let's remember, Triple H has always maintained that the World Heavyweight Championship has got to be the most important thing. So he's always maintained that it's got to be the last match on every big PLE. Well, not only is it not the last match anymore, Gunther's not even on half of these shows. So if he's not, how does he remain the world's heavyweight champion?
I do not know. I think he's an easy out for Mania, right? I mean, we know Cena, just for argument's sake, we say Cena wins the Rumble. Of course, he gets his choice, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to pick Cody Rhodes. And even how great Cena is, and as a business, you would never put Cena over clean with Cody Rhodes. It just tarnishes Cody Rhodes. And I know he's a potential Hall of Famer, John Cena, but how much easier is it for him to beat Gunther, who's the champ? Everybody would look at it and say, yep, I agree with that. And it doesn't hurt Gunther at all. You just lost to a potential Hall of Famer. But on the other side, with Cody, I think it would hurt Cody a little bit.
Well, I agree with that. 279 says, Coach and Tommy, the more and more I watch of Gunther, the guy, you guys are right. He is boring. Tommy, we're not here to just
No,
insult people. We're not
no,
here to hate them.
never.
We could care less. We're just
Right.
here to keep it real. And keeping it real, when I watch him, and I've really, really tried to enjoy him. And it kind of takes me back to Steven Regal back in the day. I mean, it's his style, very mechanical, stiff with the shots. And to me, in 2025, if you're going to get these young cats like 18 to 34 that spend the money, you got to be excited. You got to be like Jey Uso. And now I think they're trying to give Gunther the cool rub with Jey Uso. And
Mm.
to me, it just doesn't work. But Jay says Gunther destroyed Jey on the mic. That would be the one weakness that I believe Jey Uso has. He's not
Hmm.
fantastic on the mic, but he found a gimmick that works. That
Hmm.
works. The entrance, and I think his work rate has gotten a lot better since he separated from his twin.
Yep.
I like him by himself, and truth be told, I'm sure he likes it by himself because he didn't have to rely on. When you're in a tag team, you got to rely on that. And if your tag team partner is in trouble, doing something hurt, then you're usually out too. And that's
Yep.
for 14 years until now, the world that Jey Uso had to live in.
Yep. You know what I noticed now?
What's
If you
that?
saw Jey Uso tonight, and they're doing this a lot. They did it with Cena in LA with the LA Dodger colors. He had the San Jose Sharks colors on tonight with that. That was a new Yeet t-shirt. And I think in the middle of the shirt, a little low, they had the Sharks logo there. WWE's really get into localizing merchandise for top superstars who sell a lot of merchandise. And it's very smart, but you got to do it in a calculated way like you knew in the past, like they did it for Brock Lesnar. Of course, I would buy the LA shirt if I was a Cena guy. And then Yeet came out tonight, one of the coolest dudes we know, and he had the San Jose Sharks colors. That was the first thing I noticed on his new T-shirt. Not sure if it was the Sharks logo, but it looked like it to me. So if somebody can help me out in the chat and they saw that, let me know.
There's only two guys that I can ever remember that they did that for. It was Brock is the most recent, but when I first got there, The Rock was so
Mhm.
popular that they would make his finally The Rock has come back to whatever town they were in on the back. And if you're in Des Moines and you make Des Moines t-shirts, guess where you're not going to sell those t-shirts? The next night in Kansas City. So you better know that all of them are going to sell. But he was so popular, and everyone would pop off. I remember Derek,
Yep.
who ran all the merchandise. I
Yeah.
remember him saying, "Man, Rock's making so much money." And then you had John Cena. At one point in his career, he's making 37 cents of every dollar was John Cena merch.
Get out. Really? Wow.
37%, Tom. Imagine we used to get checks every 3 months. Mine would be like $78, and Cena's would be in the millions, in the millions. I'm not kidding you. By the way, Garin says we're still better than the show we watched tonight, even with the technical difficulties.
And, user 279 said, "I believe it was the shark." Thank you, user,
There you
in the
go.
Yeet shirt.
All right, we're gonna
Smart,
shorten it up.
smart.
We're just calling him 279 from now on,
Yeah,
Tommy. All right,
279.
279. And get a
Yep.
name, please, because we love you very much. All right. So Tommy, coming up after the show tonight, we got such a big reaction to part one of my visit with Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, at his compound. Well, that was nothing. Because coming up tonight, as soon as this show is over, we drop part number two. And that's where we get into the wrestling stuff. Tommy, he has a wrestling hallway, walls, merchandise. It's like something I've never seen before. In fact, why don't we show people a little snippet from part number two right now? I'm here with the man himself, Gabriel Iglesias. All right, Fluffy, you're taking us behind the camera today.
But if I'm taking you behind the camera, then I'm taking. There you go. All right, there we go. It's got clearly we have the same barber. Dude, if we hung out together, we'd look like a pair of nuts. You realize that?
So, talk me through this first because I can't even believe you're allowing behind the turnbuckle into your world. This is not the only warehouse, correct?
That is correct. Say hello to the Fluffy Compound. I am a collector of Volkswagen buses.
Where did your love of all of this start for you?
My first car was a 1968 Volkswagen bus, much like the one I'm going to show you down there. However, it didn't have that level of care. My bus was ragged. It cost me $400. My brother bought it for me. It was 18 shades of primer, and yeah, it was very much. It was a Picasso on wheels. I spent more time pushing it than driving it.
So I
He's a great
apologize. I
guy.
misunderstood. So we still have a couple more days for part number one. But Tommy, he was heavily featured last Monday night on Raw from the Staples Center. He told me because we're boys now, we
Yeah.
text. You know what I mean? I apologize. You don't have any celebrity friends, but he said it was amazing. And I know you watched his new comedy special on Netflix.
Yes.
Also,
Very funny, very funny.
he did give you free tickets last year, though. He
Yeah, he
did.
did. Yep.
And you've gotten to see him since I've gotten to see him. So
Yes.
I'm jealous for that. But in the next week or so, I don't know the exact date, but probably next Monday night when we launch on Stadium. Part number two is amazing. That tease was still a great tease by me because I'm telling you right now, him and Mr. Home Alone got good reactions. Tommy, I've never met a celebrity, and we've met a lot of them that
Yeah.
loves like truly loves wrestling more than Fluffy. Like it's in his DNA. He
Yep.
loves it. Yeah.
Yep.
I asked him one time, I said, Would you ever take a bump or would you ever get in the ring? And he said, Hail to the no. He said, I have to draw a line. And you remember Rob Schneider, the little
Yes.
comedian? He was a
Yes.
part of the Diva Search all those years ago.
I remember that.
And I remember, and I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to embarrass him. Let's just say he was inebriated, and I had to go to his dressing room to get him for the segment, and the segment was all these girls doing fighting with like the sticks, and and he was supposed to help me be the MC. He was so inebriated that when we got up to uh, the backstage area we called Gorilla,
Really.
I remember Vince pulled me aside. He goes, Coach, what the hell's wrong with him? And I said, I don't know, Vince. I don't know, but we're going to give it a shot. Needless to say, it is not in my Hall of Fame for best segments I've ever been a part of. Let's just say that. You
Yeah.
never know what you're going to get with celebrities. You never know what you're going to get. But Gabriel's awesome. And we, of course, follow us at Behind the Turnbuckle. We'll let you know when part number two is going to drop. If you haven't watched part number one, you have to. And by the way,
Yes.
Tommy, all that footage, I shot it myself.
I saw that.
I
Yes,
did
very
it
nice,
myself.
very
Yeah.
nice. Yep.
We're giving away a 1-month BTT premium membership right now. The link is if you look in the chat, we want you guys to enter. If you want to be a part of it, hashtag new pod order to be considered for a premium membership. What do you get with that? Well, you get the War Room, which is a show we drop every single Friday. Also, we do live watch alongs for big events, and we will be adding more stuff too. So if you want to be a premium member, write hashtag new pod order into the chat, and producer man will figure out the winner at the end of the show. So after 2 weeks, Tommy, let's put a bow on everything that is Monday Night Raw. Would you consider the rollout a success on Netflix? Or, and I texted you earlier today, I said, I feel like I've seen no promotion for Monday Night Raw tonight, but I know what we had before. I felt like there was nothing tonight as far as promotion. So what do they do going forward with 2 weeks left before what I consider to be the second biggest night of the entire year?
Well, you gotta bring it next excuse me, I'm sorry, guys. You gotta bring it next Monday. You can't just have nothing happening in the show at all, and nothing happened in that show at all that I could think of that would lead to a Royal Rumble. So now you get back on your horse and say, "Hey, man, we saw what happened here. I would love to see the number for this Raw, like, if it's gonna be 2,000,000 or more." I doubt it very highly. So now you gotta have next week's Raw's gotta be a banger. I don't know how you do it, but that's why you're on the writing team. And then the go home week is even bigger to make you say, I'm watching this PLE. Can't wait. It's one of the biggest PLEs WWE. It's probably the second biggest. Would you say that? Besides Mania, coach, or would you think
No, this
SummerSlam?
this is the second biggest night of the year.
Sure.
It's bigger than
Yeah.
SummerSlam. It's bigger than Survivor Series because it sets up what WrestleMania is going to be. And this year we got 3 full months because WrestleMania is at the end of April. And normally, I mean, my first WrestleMania was in March. WrestleMania 16 was my first one. That was in March. So they've got to
Yeah.
fill 3 hours. And Tommy, if AEW is going to get the venom that they get for bad ratings, then those same people that do those same shows has got to give the same venom to WWE. I
Mhm.
feel like now, because I was talking to some people who were at the last event, and they do these post press conferences after the event, and it's basically fanboys that are in there. Oh, I can't believe I'm next to Triple H, and they ask these ridiculous questions. And the only real journalist, in my opinion, is Chris Van Vliet and maybe one or two others. And so they're the ones that I listen to. They're the ones that I respect. And we've got to be honest about this number. And the whole point to going to Netflix was to get that worldwide audience on one platform instead of every single country having different, Sky Sports one place, this place in Germany. It's in one place. And Tommy, we don't go north of 5 million in week number one.
Wow.
I would be very, very, very concerned. One other topic we want to hit on because it got a lot of play in the media this week. And you and I worked for Vince McMahon for combined 45 years plus, right?
Yes.
And I've been very conflicted with my personal feelings about him, but certainly not my professional feelings about him. And he tweeted out, and it was very misleading, and that the case was over. Well, the case with the federal government and is over. He had to pay back basically 1.7 million. He has that in his back pocket in his wallet. Uh, the Janelle Grant case is still ongoing, and she's going to use the SEC case to help her personal case. But it's the first time that Vince has tweeted and has been out there, and I did not like the fact that he did it that way because it's very, very misleading. But it says to me, if he can get this thing done, and if he just would have paid her the 3 million, Tommy, it would be over. The whole thing would
Mhm.
be over. But now, if he gets this to arbitration and he can get another number to pay her, do you see a scenario where Vince could make a full comeback? Because word on the street is out here in Los Angeles, he's already rented office space and he already has two or three people working for him.
Boy, that's a tough question. By who would work for him, right? I mean, if you're a superstar, would you go work for Vince after finding all this out? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I don't know if he stays in the wrestling business. I don't know who he can get. I'm really being serious about this. Like, you've seen we're hearing everything that came out, what's going on, what's going to happen afterwards after the Janelle case, right? And they're all civil cases. So he's not going to do any time unless somebody else comes up with more charges and then more charges after that. So it would be for me, and I heard DiBiase said that somewhere on Twitter that he heard Vince was building a roster. Who are you building with? That's what I want to know. What how are you building a roster? Are you paying people now to build a roster? Because you would have to do that for somebody to say, yeah, I want to work with you. And by the way, people would only watch to see the interest to see what kind of product he would bring to the table. Oh,
279 said exactly what I was going to say. He can't be the face of it. He's got to be an angel investor. And I have seen crazier things in the wrestling industry. When you want it bad enough, and it's really hard to find it, meaning funding, a place to work, a place to make that kind of money, I would be stupid to say it absolutely would never happen. I would be dumb to say that could never happen. This is the wrestling business.
yep.
And when you're in the business and you've got somebody willing to back you with $10 million or whatever the price tag might be, and there are certain people in the world, we get stuck in the United States and our minds are like,
Yeah.
well, this would never happen in the United States. There's a lot of other countries that still like him. There's a lot of
Yes.
other countries that would do business with him.
Yes.
And it's I'm just saying that as time goes along, but Tommy, time is also not on his side. He is 79 years of age. I
Yes.
met him on his 54th birthday 25 years ago. First time I ever shook his hand. And now
Wow.
you're almost 80 years old. Nobody's seen you in a minute. It's going to be a big story once he settles with Janelle Grant, but how long could that take? It could take several more months if he's not willing to make it a big number. If I was worth $6 billion and I'd done something that he's alleged to have done, I would have paid it first and foremost. I would have been done with that. But you pay it now because you realize you can't take it with you. I'm almost 80 years old. How much longer am I going to be alive, let alone healthy enough to work? And if he's not willing to do that, then he just can't get out of his own way.
Yep. You're right. And you're right. If I'm him, I want to end this quick. Let's go to arbitration. All right. What's the number? 5 million, 10 million? Pay the number out. You're worth $6 billion, by the way, or 4.5. It doesn't matter. When you're up over $1 billion, you're a friggin' you could do anything you want. Perfect vehicle for him would be TNA, right? It's established already. They have their own superstars. He can make Joe Hendry the big star. He could build him up like the old Hulk Hogan days, right? That's one thing he can do. So, I mean, jumping on TNA wouldn't be a bad idea. If I'm TNA and I own it, I would definitely listen because he has the cash.
There are other historical figures that, and I know it has to do with women, and I'm not even going to touch on that. There's no way. But like I thought about Michael Vick the other day, and I was like, he spent over 2 years in prison for dogfighting years and years ago. A lot of young fans today don't remember this. He just got hired to be a head coach at a college football in HBCU. That's the ultimate comeback story. So
Mhm.
I don't like cancel culture at all. I think it's bad. But in certain instances, it's the right thing to do. So I'm never going to say it's not going to happen because he's already signed people. But Tommy, I think it's going to be probably not in 2025. Not in 2025.
Yeah.
I really believe that. All right, one more thing. If you miss it at the top of the show, our big announcement starting next Monday night. You can watch it here if you want to be a part of the chat on YouTube, but also we're going to be live. And Tommy, we're going to have 4 people every week. We got the great Gabby AF is going to be a part of the show next week. If everybody in the chat knows who she is, she used to be executive producer or associate producer on Busted Open. Now she
Yes.
has her own podcast. And Tommy, not for nothing, she's going to upgrade the product just a little bit
Just a
because
tad.
we're just a tad. Yeah, she's going to make us look really, really good. She's super smart in the wrestling business, and she could become the new star of the show, Tommy. No
Yep.
offense to me or you.
That's
So,
fine.
yeah. So every
Yep.
single Monday night, 11 o'clock. And then we're going to rotate talent. We're going to have former WWE talent on. We're not just going to be doing lip service kind of content. We're going to do real stories, real pro wrestling stories every single Monday night. Then we will replay throughout the week on Stadium, wherever Stadium finds Amazon Prime Video, DirecTV. And I know for
Amazing.
you, it's DirecTV has always been your thing, man. You've been,
Amazing.
and we're going to be on there, buddy. So I'm
This is
super proud of you. I'm super proud of how far you've
Proud of
come.
you bringing me on board, man.
So we're just
Unbelievable.
getting started. Do not forget, every time we put that QR code up on the screen, buy a peach of BTT merchandise. It really helps the show grow. We're going to be starting a newsletter. We're going to be starting just a ton of stuff. Just a ton of stuff, as much as we could possibly do. But we're doing it because of all of you at home that tune in late on a Monday night, on a Friday. If you're a premium member, we just can't thank you enough. All right, that's
Yeah.
going to do it for now. BTT Plus members, don't forget, every Friday we drop the War Room. And also, we drop about 10 to 12 minutes every week on one big topic as well. This week will probably be the Gabriel Iglesias, but just follow us on social media, turn on your notifications, and every time we do drop content, you will be notified. For my man, congratulations! Our very next BTT Plus member, Producer Man will get you all of the details. That's pretty cool, Tommy. That was very
Yeah.
dramatic. That was
Yeah.
very, very dramatic. Very
Love me
cool.
some producer, man.
By the way, also, I don't know if Coach and Tommy mentioned this, but JBL returns next week. On what
Yes.
show?
Yeah.
On Raw?
On Raw, yeah.
Did I miss that?
Yeah, they had a
Oh,
graphic up. Yeah.
what's he doing?
I don't know.
He's going to be a talent?
No, well,
I mean,
not
he's
in the
going to be
ring.
is he going to be wrestling or what?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we also have we're going to have a new presenting sponsor, Tommy, every week. We're working with this company. It's going to be really, really cool. We want to start getting as many companies involved as possible. So the nice thing is, Tommy, I get the products first. You don't. I
Okay.
do. I do. I do. So
It's not Blue Chew, is it?
that would be sent to you first, my friend. Oh, 279 said, yeah, it was just a graphic, fascinating. Oh, no wonder I missed it. I had to run out for a few minutes. I was like, damn. But I love JBL. You know, him and I used to golf together. We did a betting show during COVID together. So I wish him nothing but the best. And now he's a part of Sportskeeda and the shows that they do over there. We moved off of their platform for a lot of reasons, but good luck to him, because I know he missed it, and he's really one of the great talkers in the business. All right, that's going to do it for the last word. We'll see you next Monday night live on Stadium and Amazon Prime and DirecTV. For Big Tommy C, for intern Dan, for producer man, I am the coach. We'll see you next time right here on The Last Word.